Everyone, today is the 28th of May, nearing the end of the month. Markets are really rolling here. This is the SPY chart. This is Brad Matheny. This is the Plan Your Trade video. Bright and early, got to get on the road this morning. So look, we'll go through the data here real quick. Markets are kind of rolling. We had a big reversion upward move. Remember, I talked about how the markets would likely try to consolidate into kind of an upward range on my video yesterday. I think this big move up yesterday, spread this out a little bit. I think this really kind of rolled up into this resistance channel sufficiently enough that I think we're going to really kind of stall out below this 599 area. Into this, we're at 591. We're a little bit off of the numbers. We have NVIDIA coming up. I think, in fact, let me check the earnings real quick. Look, NVIDIA's today. Yep. After the market, looks like got a bunch of earnings here coming in today. You can see quite a few, really, some smaller million. Get rid of that. We only have a couple in the billions, it looks like. U-Haul, Nordstrom, PPT Exploration, Dick's Sporting Goods already reported. National Bank of Canada, it looks like. And, of course, the big one that everybody's waiting for is Bank of Montreal, a little lower, and we have NVIDIA later today. So, given the fact that the markets are moving into this NVIDIA earnings data, I expect we're probably going to be pretty flat. The SPY cycle pattern for today is, get rid of that, come over here, is an inside breakaway. We are in a bullish mode, in a warning mode. We're in this rollover type of a trend. I would expect a whole lot of nothing early in trading, and then maybe some activity late in the day, maybe some very big activity in the evening as the NVIDIA earnings hit. To be honest with you, I think NVIDIA is going to probably, come out with decent earnings. I think that, the carryover over the last month hasn't really affected much. I do know that there was a bit of a shakeup in the gaming world with regards to sales of boards that were all graphics boards that were already in the U.S. about a month and a half ago. So that may have bumped sales up a bit. But we shall see what happens. Like I said, it may be forward guidance that plays into this. It may be manufacturing concerns that plays into something. And it may be something that just is a no-brainer. It's just more of the same in the sense that they're just going to keep doing what they're doing and let her go. So we move into really that Harami and then crush pattern on Friday. So inside breakaway, Harami, and then crush kind of leads me to believe that we're going to be maybe up in here, Harami line, and then maybe a crush pattern downward. So rolling maybe a little higher, and then moving into a consolidation pattern, and then moving down into a crush pattern. Watch that 599. 600 level. I really think that that's kind of our upper range right now. Okay, QQQ. Same type of setup. We have that, let me get rid of this line. And this, and this. And then we have that same type of setup right here in this range. So really up here in this 525, call it area, text, down to this 490 low. And then we have this interim level here, 502 to 519. We're slightly above it right now. Ultimately, I do believe that we attempt a breakdown. So we'll see how this plays out. And it's going to be more like this July, kind of like that. But we'll see how it plays out. And like I said, I kind of think that we're moving into that reversion upward, possibly testing this 525 area before we break down. And remember, we have that inside breakaway today, Harami line tomorrow, and then a crush pattern on Friday. So we could be looking at that type of activity going into the week. Crush is normally can be a very big down day, can be a very big up day as well. We're still currently in bullish trending. We haven't broken away from this downward flag or upward flagging formation right now. So as you can see, we are still in an upward trend. So we don't have any signs of a major breakdown yet. We need you to be aware of that. What I am suggesting is that, we could move into kind of a breakdown pattern if we get outside this range and if we get below this, say, 576, 575 area that I'm highlighting right here, or on the QQQ, if we get down below this, say, 500, 502 area right here. To me, that's kind of our breakdown level. If we roll out of this area and break down below this 502 area right here, then yeah, I would say that we're moving into a solid breakdown. Same thing over here with the SPY. If we roll out of this and break down below this 575, 576 area, then yeah, we're moving into a breakdown mode. Until then, we're still in an upward trend. Okay, gold and silver are rolling a bit. Silver moved quite a bit higher yesterday. We'll see how this plays out. The gold and silver cycle pattern is a top resistance in bullish accumulation in trending mode. Then we have a gap potential and carryover, then a gap stall revert flush. So a top resistance pattern would, if we don't already have it here, meaning setting up this kind of a top, would at some point set some sort of a new top pattern, kind of like this. So it's like a top resistance pattern is typically price moving up, finding resistance, and then rolling back downwards, setting up some sort of a top. Now, we have this rolling top right here that I've highlighted. That could be our top pattern already set up. And we could be moving into tomorrow's pattern. If that is the case, we would be moving into a gap potential in carryover mode. But we'll see how things play out today. As you know, I believe that gold and silver are moving into, I've highlighted it for you over here, a big flagging formation. And I believe that silver's already moved out of that big flagging formation, setting up kind of a rollover stalling pattern before attempting to move higher. So we'll see how it plays out here, guys. I'm looking for gold and silver to try to make a move to the upside. We're just not there yet, I don't think. And like I said, I really think that the big move in metals is going to come next week when we get into this rally phase right over here. Okay, next we go to Bitcoin. Come back over here. Bitcoin up $67. I hate to say it, but what happened to our big movers? I guess everybody's waiting on NVIDIA right now this week and other news, but certainly stalled out, flattened. Get rid of some of my drawings. Leave that. So here we are with this extended pattern. And this is the breakdown zone. This is where we move into invalidation up into the ultimate high. So we've invalidated here off of this high. We've moved up here to the ultimate high, which is now up here. We have this upper resistance range, which we talked about a while ago. And like I said, we are technically very bullish. So that's why I want you to be aware that until we get this breakdown, we are bullish. There is no underlying message here. You should be expecting upward trending. But if we do get this rolling breakdown, which is what I expect, you're going to likely see this lower channel, which, I would highlight around this 101 area. Possibly maybe more towards the midpoint of this channel, the 103, 104 area, as kind of the breakdown zone. So, what that would mean is about a $5,000, little more than $5,000 roll into this mode, which if we do get that breakdown, we'd have to come down into this area. And below this, I'll make it a dark blue line. Below this 101, 102 area, meaning 101,000, 102,000, I think would be a very good indication that we're getting that breakdown in Bitcoin. Now, may never happen. And again, as long as we stay up above this pink level, which I will change to green, as long as we stay above that good, solid green level, we're in a pretty solid uptrend. We get into that green level, we're threatening a breakdown, the way I look at it. And again, I did my video back over here. Get rid of comments. Got some new comments to go over. I did my video here about the double top warning. Okay, we've got a lot of views, a lot of comments, and I'm sure it's going to be very interesting to see how this double top potentially plays out in Bitcoin over the next couple of days. And we'll see how it plays out. But again, guys, comes down to the fact that the markets are stalling. They're struggling for direction. You can see it pretty much in everything. Bitcoin stalling out. S&P rotating sideways in consolidation, literally right at that 7.6 level. Okay. I mean, this is perfect rotation right at that 7.6, which is a 75% level. This is where I would expect stalling reversal to occur, right in this area. Same thing with the NASDAQ. Okay. So you're coming through here. Right in this 7.6 range right here. Setting up rotation right at that 764 to 835 area. This is where, rejection rotation can occur in the markets. I went and did a video, come back over here, and I did this video, risk containment strategies. And I highlighted how, let me just turn this on, get here. I highlighted how the S&P rolls through these 264, basically 25% and 75% levels, and then stalls. So you can see how it got up here, rolled up into this range, came back down to the 25% level, stalled, and then rolled downward. And then rolled over into the 25% level here, stalled, and then rolled upward. So when we get into these rolling patterns like this, where we come up, we stall, what we do is we draw a line from the recent low down here, Fibonacci retracement, up to the high. Then we come over here, we start looking at the 25 and 30, 17.5 level. We go ahead and we say, look, at this point, if we get down into this level, I then stall back up, and I'll draw that again. If we come down into this level, stall back up into this area, this is essentially a perfect setup, okay? This is that excess phase peak setup coming into play, flagging, could get a breakdown into consolidation, and then into the ultimate low. So it's, again, I'm teaching you price structure, how structure works, how all of these structures fit together like Legos, and how you can kind of anticipate where we're at. Now, yes, we do have, if I were to come in here and delete these, we do have a little minor excess phase peak pattern setting up right here. Little tiny one. But what would happen in this case is we would have to get down below this 2.5 level, this 25% level, meaning we would have to come down into this area, roll up. That would set up a bigger excess phase peak, which would then indicate a move down into this area, 50%, and then a down into this area, 75 to lower. Okay, so it's all, in my opinion, it's all structural. See how this is all structural? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the road or get ready, leave you here. I think the markets are going to be very flat ahead of the earnings data from NVIDIA. We do have, like I said, a inside breakaway potential pattern. So obviously after yesterday's big bar, an inside breakaway may be just slightly to the upside. We'll see how it plays out. If we get a big breakdown today, I mean, it could happen. It would come off of news. And I don't know what the news would be. Obviously, disruptions in earnings or disruption in global markets could be pretty severe, but we don't have that yet. So I'm expecting more of kind of a consolidated rolling top for the next day or two. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Talk later.